Chapter 1, Prologue, You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. I raise my head and scrub my eyes. There was drool on my face. It seems I had slept on top of my desk. I must have lost consciousness while in the middle of reading a book again. While it's not healthy, there isn't a person to call fault to this. When I gained awareness, my mother was already gone, and my father was stabbed by a knife and died while I was still small. Since my grandfather who took me in died last year, I am now living alone. My father was a magician who had his name known quite well in the business, an oddball who liked traveling. A no-good father who left his child behind to wander around across the sea, buying meaningless souvenirs to try and curry favor with me. "I'm a real magician," was father's catchline while he was working. As part of his performance, he had a hired applauder take a knife and stab him as a magic trick. A viewer who saw that and got excited used their own knife to cut at my father. After that his consciousness didn't return and he quickly died. When I was small, I believed that father was a real magician, so I believed that he would someday return. If I asked, "When is 2.san coming back?" grandfather would narrow his eyes and pet my head. If I think of it now, he was showing pity to me. I direct my eyes to the front cover of the book I had been reading. Middle Ages Black Magic Encyclopedia. I don't want to acknowledge it, but what got me into this sort of shady stuff was unmistakably the fault of father's souvenirs. Not limited to this suspicious book, there are many shady black magic kits in my house. After continuing to think something like, "There's definitely no such thing as magic, but if there were, it would be nice," I reached 17 years old. If it were the past, it would have ended as an imaginative kid, but now I'm completely what society calls a chinibu. I naturally don't have anyone to talk with at school, and am looked at with eyes as if directed toward an unusual bug, cast out. The people I can call an acquaintance are just the Black Magic Research Society, but due to studying for exams, a lot of seniors have retired and right now is just the underclassmen Iken and me. In short, Iken is the only person I can talk to. It's lonely. BNOL.M. By the way, with accordance to the school's rules, if no club applicants appear next year, our Black Magic Research Society will be shut down. Evil will be destroyed. The Black Magic Research Society is the only place I feel comfortable. I have to protect it no matter what. I have to start opening meetings with Iken about freshman soliciting methods soon. Perhaps in the black magic kits I bought on the net, if at least one of them could be called the real thing, applicants will appear. No, something like that, I understand couldn't possibly exist. When the event occurred was after school. No, I think I will stop participating in the club. After school, the underclassmen I trusted resolutely handed a club withdrawal form to me. If I think of it now, the fact that the Iken who was a well-mannered beauty and a person of common sense remained in this oddball club until now was a miracle. However, even if I think so, considering the club situation I can't give in so easily. For now, I wanted to negotiate for a break from the club or if impossible, leaving her name in for the head count. However, Iken gave me nothing to cling to. After recovered from my panic and sought to proceed the conversation, she had already left the clubroom. I somehow managed to catch up at the school gates, but I couldn't make the discussion there. Due to the uncomfortable atmosphere, Iken suddenly walked out as if to run away from me and tried to pass through a pedestrian crossing. The traffic light was red. Probably, she was distracted by me and didn't notice that the light changed. Unluckily, it was when a large truck attempted to pass through. After I noticed, I had dashed out. My body suffered a strong impact, and my vision turned to black. Hot. My body is hot. I somehow managed to open my yes, but my sight is horribly blurred. Rather than my eyes, it seems my brain has undergone damage. The surroundings start becoming noisy. I thought, it's noisy, as if it were someone else's problem. Someone is clinging to me. No. I'm sorry. Because of me. While in intermittent, I was able to hear my underclassman's voice. Great. I managed to save her. If we both died after I jumped in, it wouldn't be cool after all. Rather than the school's popular person, it would be better if the social outcast died, since the people who would grieve are less. While it's strange to call it lucky, but I have no relatives anymore. I barely have any acquaintances either. Even my regrets are just that the alchemy history research I did was done half-heartedly, and that a dragon's nails that I ordered over the internet arrived today. Even if I say so, I'm sad. Even a dream of the future, I don't have. At the end of such thoughts, my consciousness ceases. Chapter 2. The Day of Reincarnation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just where is this exactly? My mind is dim, but I certainly have consciousness. I should have been hit by a truck. I thought I had completely died, but apparently the human body is much more durable than I thought. Perhaps it's a miracle provided by one of the black magic items I ordered from overseas by working. If I'm not mistaken, I have a memory of zombie powder and Phoenix's fried chicken. By the way, zombie powder was sweet tasting. I put it in coffee and drank it. The Phoenix's fried chicken had a taste like an eraser. I have a memory of splitting it with my club's upperclassman Yama-san and eating it. I have the feeling a long time has passed since I was hit by the truck, while also having the opposite feeling. It unexpectedly might have ended in a minor injury. I remember until getting struck off the walkway and losing my consciousness, but I don't have confidence on how bad my injuries were. Although, I'm glad I'm alive. Which reminds me, I have the feeling that girl clung to me while crying. That's a good sign I'll be able to convince her. The Black Magic Research Society is unending and immortal. After thinking about such worthless things, I open my eyes and see an unknown woman. She's clearly not Japanese. Her hair and skin are white as if transparent with red eyes. It was a beautiful person with an ephemeral impression. Her face is quite close. I attempted to pull my neck back without unconsciously, but I can't move my neck well. The woman's eyes meet with mine and she smiles sweetly. This is clearly a language I have never heard before. From beside the woman, a single man peeks into my face. This man has white hair and red eyes in the same way as the woman. What country's people are these? Oh. I mix in hand gestures trying to communicate my will, but words wouldn't properly come out. No, it's not just that. I looked at my own hands and was shocked. They were small hands, as if those of a baby. Furthermore, in the same way as the two in front of me, a low pigmented white. I instinctively sensed it. Perhaps I have been reborn. Perhaps this handsome man and beautiful woman who look to be from another mysterious country are my parents in this life. No, something like that is impossible. I quickly take a glance at my feet. I was lifted up by the woman. Oh, you. I cried and screamed. The woman moved her hands holding me up and down as to comfort me. No, that's not it. The man and woman looked at me with a happy expression. Their eyes were completely those of a parent looking at their child. Chapter 3. 4.ys old. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Another 2 years have passed and I am now 4.ys old. I gotten used to the life as a Marin tribe, Marin clan. Nowadays, white soup became tasty, which I have thought it as thin taste as a real water and I was able to drink the heated snake blood normally. I do not think anything about pig heads, even they are lined up on the table. I gotten used to my appearance which was our Marin tribe's characteristic and my hobby became making odoms. Every morning, I offer my prayers to the dedicated God window. This may already be difficult to return to the original lifestyle. While living a long life as a Marin tribe, I started thinking seriously that this place was not the earth. I lowered my line of sight that were seeing towards the sky and moved it to a log I was holding in my hand. Today also, I was carving the surface of the log with a knife in the garden next to the house and making an odom. To carve wood with a knife there was a technique, which was written and transmitted by the Marin tribe. It corresponds to the magical power that dwells in the trees around the village. By using that technique, it can be carved easily with the power of the child. Ni-sama, please play with Giselle. My little sister Giselle pulls on the hem of my clothes. Giselle is 2 years younger than me. She is now 2 years old. She resembles mother and her eyes are big with the long eyelashes emphasized her characteristic eyes. It goes without saying that hair and skin are white and eyes are red. Giselle's beautiful looks with her young age was like a Western doll. Especially when she was sleeping, anyone would think that she is really a doll. My parents will leave the care of Giselle to me, for granted. Even though I am an older brother, I am still 4 years old. I think that they are pushing it a bit far. Was it because of my Japanese thought process or is it the deviation way of thinking of Marin tribe? My parents do not seem to be busy, and they do not seem to not affectionate towards Giselle. I saw in the shadows, that my parents secretly watching at Giselle and me. I found their smiling faces. I wonder, if they want us to deepen our brothers and sisters relationship. Ni-sama, are you listening? I'm concentrating on making otoms now. I will play with you when I'm done. Why are you sticking to those otoms so much? Rather than otom, I am interested in what's beyond. Beyond. Because otom is the basic of the foundation of magical training. Ni-san is interested in magic. Yes, this tribe, they can handle the magic that I did not need in the previous life. No, in order to tell from the story of my father, it is surely recognized worldly people that magic exists. This is the biggest factor that I have come to decide that this is not the earth. When I was convinced of the existence of magic for the first time, I ran through the room with excitement. After reincarnation, the real world where magic exists. It sounds like a light novel or a web novel. By the way, status open. Even though I screamed out, nothing came out. It's a shame. My mother looked at me with strange eyes. I almost cried for a moment. When my father told me about rituals and magical stories, I thought that there was no such things, but I actually have to believe it because I witnessed it. From magic tricks such as telepathy and others, it was possible to treat even a slightest injury. I was surprised and desperately asked my father that there must be some kind of tricks to it, but there were no suspicious points. It took a while for me to conclude that there was magic. L.rg From the point of view of my father, it seems that he was surprised to be suspected so far. From my point of view, magic was something I could not comprehend, but is that so? If you live in such values. From an early age it is normal. I craved for magic a lot in my previous life. Once I actually witnessed it, I could not help but suspicious. Maybe I am unexpectedly who believes in common sense type. First of all, when I saw the father who healed his injury proudly saying, "Look at this Abel, this is magic," I was surprised to lose my words. I was surprised at the existence of magic, but I was surprised at the light tone as if it would be shown at party tricks. Even looking at magic, Giselle was only excited by saying, "Kya." Her reaction was no different from seeing toys. Giselle cannot understand why Nii.Sama were so enthusiastic about magic. Giselle inflated her cheeks and said so. By treating her lightly, she probably being down. But regarding that remark, I also want to question her in reverse that why are you so indifferent to that? I want to question. I want to question until she cried. It's magic. There is magic. Mysterious fantasy phenomenon is in my hand. If I am not enthusiastic about this, then what should I be enthusiastic about? For Giselle the existence of magic is common sense, so she do not know its value. My parents also troubling. At least, they should at least take care of Giselle while I am in training magic. My father should be pleased with me, that I am devoting myself to the training magic. This tribe has too little conscious about magic. There is magic. We can do anything depending on our training. They should be encouraged to spare time to practice 1 minute and even 1 second. Ni.sama, nii.sama, come to think of it, when mother, ka.sama, took me out yesterday. Philo.sama was walking with a mayor.wolf. Giselle also wants to buy a mayor.wolf. Giselle has changed the subject. She must be thinking that she could draw my attention with this. Philo is the granddaughter of the Marin tribe. No, was she a great-granddaughter? In this world, there seems to be no word to distinguish between grandchildren and great-grandchildren, so the sense goes crazy. Philo is a pretty girl and on top that a stubborn girl. I do not like her very much as she often comes in my way. Mayor.wolf is a small wolf. The hair was white and their eyes are red, and the appearance features are very similar to Marin. Basically they are temperate and obedient. Marin tribe often tends to tame them and hunts together in many cases. Tell those things to the father. Mew. She wanted to attract my interest with it, but now I want to concentrate on making odom. The reason why making odom is basic training of magic is simple and reasonable. Once you go briefly, you can refine concentration, space grasping ability, color sensation, and imagination. And it seems that these are the very important factors in using magic. There seems to be some odoms made from stones and minerals, but basically when making odoms as a basic practice of magic, its main material is wood. It is easy for trees to pass magical power, and deeply engaging with natural life force also leads to magical power boost. The same thing as this was written with thick words in a heavy book at home. My father says that the tree growing in the vicinity of this Marin tribe has magical powers and that it also raises the magical power of the trainees. I can practice magical skills under such superior conditions. Can I go easy with that? I wonder if I can somehow manage Giselle to calm down. Oh, that's right. I came up with a great idea. That's right Giselle, I will make you a model of odom. Is that true? Ni.sama. Giselle who is happily moving her hands with pata-pata. Koroi easy to manipulate. I should have said it from the beginning. Sit down on the stone there. On this is fine, I can see Giselle's face well, do not move too much. Yes. Yes. Unlike before, who was a busybody until a while ago, Giselle sitting on a rock stretching her spine a little. As if I was taking her photos. She must be suffering, have not she stopped breathing? It seems that Giselle's physical strength may drain by the time I finished it. Although it is not like odom was able to resemble a human being just by having eyes, mouth, nose and a certain degree of decoration. To mislead the Giselle, I must make a few similar places like her. While carving log with a knife, I turn my eyes to Giselle several times as if there are any points that can be imitated. Each time I see her, Giselle dyes her white cheeks red and looks at me shyly. I wonder if I saw her a bit too much. As usual the result was a dense ugly face specific to odom and there were no fragments of Giselle. Well, it seems that Giselle is pleased, so there will be no problem. As I watch, Giselle who embraced the ugly odom and was cheering while watching it, she thanked me. This, I feel like I do not understand it. No, if she was convinced it was fine by me. Chapter 4 6. Ys old, 1, you are listening at novelfull.audio. I am now 6. Ys old and Giselle 4. Ys old. I started making odoms since 2. Ys ago, that was around when I am age of 4. Years. I have been making odoms almost every day for almost 2 years. Although I was troubled for the place to put them, because there was still attachment to what I could make well. It seems that my father want to burn them, but I cried and strongly protested against it. I somehow managed to place them in the garden as an odom repository. I am glad that I was a child. It's been a long time since I have thought that. My father seems satisfied that his child practices diligently in magic training and he probably did not want to do something that would crush it. My little sister Giselle contributed the most. My father was weak against my little sister. However, our garden was not that wide. There are not many houses that arrange the odoms in the garden, but there were no houses to the garbage mountain level like ours. Obviously, they became a rumor for the public and my father seems to be not bothered by it. As I pretty much sorted them out, as soon as I have completed I am going to destroy the majority which are not to my satisfaction, but the number of homemade odoms are steadily increasing. Before, it used to take 1 week to make one, but now it is possible to make 3 on the same day. More and more odoms covered the garden. Today, more than 100 odoms are lined up in the garden. Today I placed odom as a chair, making an odom. There is also Giselle by my side. I told her to sit on top of the odom, but she refused me by saying, I cannot sit on the odom made by Ni-sama. There were many odoms that were made to sit on them easily, so I would like to thank them for sitting. But, who made them every day can be said myself. And the one who watches it every day without getting bored said my little sister. She blushed her white cheeks and happily watching me making odom. I wonder if she do not get tired of just watching. That I always think about Giselle to teach her how to make an odom, but to give a knife to my cute little sister has a slight sense of resistance after all. A bit more. At the very least, I will wait until Giselle becomes 5 years old. I need to consult with my father, too. If I let Giselle grab a knife in secret from father, I might be beaten up when he finds out. Abel. And the moment I thought about my father called me out worriedly. Because I was thinking, I did not notice my father. I was going to drop the knife surprise, but in a hurry I grab it in the air. What happened, father? Why do you keep making odom to that extent? Even you say that. No, this is the best way for training magical. In this Marin tribe, it is status how much you are good magical user. Even parents should be glad that the child will be devoted to training magic, but recently parents watching me has a strong puzzle on their face. But, that was the first time I made odom. I cannot say that it is not early. You should play a little more like a child. I see, in other words they were uneasy about me not being childish. However, if you ask me from my point of view, those who spend time on magical arts training are far more childish. No, such a thing is meaningless to say in this world with magic. However, even if you say to be a child, I already exceeded 20 years easily, if add my age of the previous life. I cannot mix with the children of the settlement and also cannot play with them. It was much more fun to get involved in magic by making the odoms. It might be another story if there are games or a smartphone, but I do not think that there were such things in this world. For example, how about try going out to the forest outside the village? It may be dangerous to take Giselle, so I cannot give permission to that. The forest outside the settlement. But, how do I play there? If I was a child, it may be fun just running around, but as my spirit has passed such a period of time. Better yet, I thought about revealing about my past life, but I did not do it. There is a possibility that they may think of me demon and kick me out of the village, and at worst case scenario I might be executed by saying devil possessed or something. Even if there is no execution or ban, I do not want for my family to become uncomfortable. I love my parents and sister now. I think that it is important as much as the family of my past life. No, I hate it. I do not want it. If so, I will also go, too. Giselle grabs the hem of my clothes. It is a moderate force. Stop it because it becomes wrinkled. Moo. This time it's my father's to swallow his words. My father is weak against Giselle. It's father said that I have to always get along with Ni-sama. But still, why do you say such a things? At last Giselle started crying. Giselle 100 out of 100, all the time sticks to her older brother's party, and furthermore she is still 4 years old. Speaking of pulling me away from her, there is no way she would not cause a tantrum. This is my father's fault. I patted Giselle's back and comforted her, and I glanced at the anxious father. Ora, see, stop crying. Dad, because father was bad. Well, I succeeded in successfully misrepresenting it. I thanked her with comforting words and rubbed Giselle's back. Giselle, while crying, leaned against my body, and she puts her arms around my body. I let out my tongue secretly, while watching the anxious father from the side. For time being, let's escape with Giselle as a shield. Since it was uncomfortable to hurt my little sister, from now on I will teach her few things beforehand, so that I can fight off my father. Because Giselle will always be by my side, she will always function as a shield. That way of saying is a bit bad. Chapter 5 6.Ys 2, you are listening at novelfull.audio. I got my mother to teach me letters, so I can read and write a little. No, although I was taught, I took a paper with letters and I just read it over several times. After that I compared the letters with a book. I almost mastered letters by myself. My mother taught me enthusiastically, but she thought that because I was 6.Ys old, the pace was slow, and that was obvious. To Marin tribe, it seems that recognition of degree was good enough to be able to memorize the character reading and writing by age of 10.Ys old. I wondered they thought that it was still too early. Even I said that I understood. She repeats the same place over and over again, and if I thought she progressed a little, again gone back and started over. So from the first day onwards, I wonder if it will be good for a while. I pretend to be tired and escaped. I decided to learn without permission. I sit on an ottoman in the garden and opened a book of magic. It was intended for children, with plenty of pictures. Even though I read this, I still do not understand the characters well yet, but I can make excuses that I just looking at the pictures. My parents still do not know that I can read characters. If they know that I self-taught and mastered after throwing letters into a mix whatever were taught. What my mother may think about it. Just before, my father said that I was not like a child. I had better keep it hidden. Over time, I can insist that I remembered simple letters while reading a picture book. Ni-sama, can you read the letters? Giselle stretches her head from the side and looks into the book of magic. Oh, it's a secret to our father and mother. Wow, it is amazing. Oh, I want you to read the story of the dwarf's forest. A dwarf's forest is about a collection of children's stories. My mother often tells me to read before going to bed. I do not want to be seen where I am reading. Let our mother read it, will not it good enough? But, I want Nii.sama to read it, is not it good? Will she not let go? Is not it good? I want to keep that I can read letters only between Giselle and me, a secret between only us two. Only us two, is it? That's right, is not good. Well, it's good. Okay, it is a secret between only us two, between Nii.sama and I. Alright, she took it. Giselle is also pleased, and it was a perfect way to push it. No one will lose. The primary reason why I wanted to learn a character is because I wanted to start full-scale training of magic. Creating an otum is the foundation of the foundation. I do not plan to neglect the basics, but it would be enough since I made that many. My father will not teach me by saying it is still early, but I wanted to enter the next stage soon. So I wanted to read books and gain simple magical knowledge. According to the book, Shintaku.satsu, Oracle Notes, and Fortune.telling normally seems to be primitive magic. Shintaku.satsu, Oracle Notes, is like a tarot card dedicated to the Marin tribe. It is divided into a red and a black tag, each of which has 13 pieces, and numbers from 1 to 13 are written. There are also colorless tags written as 0, so there are 27 in all. Everything is painted with thieves, hunters, sorcerers, and a slightly stinky dubious pictures are drawn. By the way, if the color is different, the same picture is drawn if it is the same number tag. Although it is close to tarot cards, it is more close to playing trump cards. In fact, I played with Giselle an old-made card game, Babanuki. A game where you lose when the last card in your hand is a joker. Each turn you take a card from your opponent's hand. If it matches with one of your card you threw it down, something like that. Well, after that, my father found out and he got angry over it. Apparently it seems that it was not a good thing to play them. He should have overlooked that much if he said that I would play like a child. I was forced to do that, cuts the air into crosses and asks God for forgiveness. If I try to bring out a Shintaku Satsu, oracle notes, my father may get angry again. Should I have Giselle to pick that up? On the day, I took out oracle notes to play the Babanuki. Anyway, you were the one who should have suggested that. Only I was scolded, by saying that. And actually it was he said, I am not against it, but my father will not get angry at Giselle. That's why I should rather have Giselle pick them up. Do you remember Giselle, the oracle notes? Yes, I remember that Babanuki. In the Giselle's mind, they have completely turned to Babanuki. Well, why not? I am not in a position I can correct. Whatever it is, I wish that they would make it popular to the point to not to get angry even though the oracle notes to Babanuki. Yes, those Babanuki, pick them up from the second floor, I will attract our mother on the first floor. Yes, please leave it to me. Giselle does not hesitate and replies so. Yeah, well done sister. However, if I have to use those Shintaku Satsu, oracle notes, I want to do it out of reach from my father. By taking the permission of my mother, should I go to a little lonely place where a bit far from the village. Chapter 6 6.Ys old, 3, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Together with Giselle, I went to a less popular place away from the settlement. Because I found a good stump, I used it instead of a desk to arrange the oracle notes. Throughout the day I tried practicing, but there was no results on the first day. So I decided to go to that place for a while. I got up early in the morning before my father so that I could practice for even a second more, and my father got angry when I came back late at night. Let's put me aside. But Giselle, accompanying me without any purpose, is also amazing. As the time passed by 2 days, 4 days, and a week, I gradually grasped something from them. I continued turning the oracle notes, cards, and as a breather I carved few odoms. And then, a month passed. Clown, the king of red, the richest man of red. While saying I turned 3 cards that are lying down. The first piece was clown, the second piece was the red king. The third piece was not a red richest man but a black devil. Did I fail again? Is the hit rate about 60% or so? I did not hit a single piece on the first day, and the success rate has been increasing, but, something like this, I feel something was short. Sama, this is amazing. Of the 3 pieces you have also won 2 pieces. If possible, I would like to take it until about 100 out of 100, but it is a remembrance practice, but it does not mean that I can really see the picture. Although I do not see it, intuition will work somehow if I do. It looks like one piece of perspective. As a leading magician, a concrete vision seems to come to mind. Sama, what's the matter? No, I was thinking that I cannot raise the success rate a bit more. But, even Father Sama, told that he often miss. I want to surpass our father. To say it clearly, I think my father's magical level is low. If we talk about just making an odom, I am already better than him. That I can say it with confidence. That is, as far as the basics of magical foundation, my father was losing to me, who is a 6.Ys old child. For now, I am making my father as my goal. But, that is the goal as a passing point. Sama. Giselle opened her mouth wide and looked at me like she was surprised. It's bad, I got a little excited. In the Marin tribe, although the magical skill is the status, I can see that they do not do any training, so I feel a little irritated. If I said this to my father, it will become awkward. It's a secret to our father. This is a secret between us two, by saying that I put my index finger against Giselle's lips. Hiya, hi-yi. I understand, nii.sama. Giselle blushes and waves her hands with excitement. Alright, Koroi, easy to manipulate. Giselle is weak against this phrase. In this case her mouth will not slip by accident. Well then, let's stop here for today. Giselle want to try training. Well, is not it much motivated. It cannot be helped. When she tried it before, but she rarely hit it. Giselle is 4 years old and she have never made an otum. Was this something like that? It's been a while, let's go home after playing for a while. Yes. Let's do that. Giselle expresses her happy expression. I kind of feel sorry for her to keep me company to this forest and just watching my training. Do you want to play Babanuki? If I have more cards, we could have played the millionaire or speed, but with these numbers are a little less. I also tried to think about various rules, but eventually I will settle down with Babanuki. If there are 2 sets, we can use them as the same way as trump cards, but our house has only 1 set. We sit across the wooden stump and face each other, and played Babanuki. Right. Right is recommended, nii.sama. Well then, I will take the left. AAA. I put black and red fancier cards on stumps. My hand is now 0 with this. I finally realized after winning 3 consecutive times. Perhaps, am I avoiding the clown that I treat as Joker naturally? Giselle is easy to understand, but even if it is taken into account, there is a bias. Are not I consciously remembered? Ni.sama, you are strong. Giselle puts her cheek on the stump and looks up at me. No, just by coincidence. She will be going to sulk soon. Next time, should I try draw a clown on purpose next? But, this also going to be magical practice, too. From next time, should I make a habit of predicting patterns before pulling cards? It's more fun than turning cards and I can get Giselle's mood to normal. It is exactly 2 birds with 1 stone. I wish my father do not get angry and accept playing cards as training. Chapter 7. 7. Ys old, 1, you are listening at novelfull.audio. A year has passed since I began to training with Oracle Notes. I am now 7. Ys old and Giselle 5. Ys old. Now, when I cast while watching the back of the Oracle Note, the image of the front side comes into my mind. For Oracle Notes my results will always be 100% accurate. Apparently it seems that no one can easily do this even for Marin tribal adults. I am glad that I continued my training from young age. It may have been my born natural talent. However, this is because the Oracle Notes themselves have magical powers, and it is impossible to see through the walls. Note. Peeping, it is not practicality but just as to practice magic. Peeping into the bath or changing clothes. I cannot do something like that now. There seems to be some means to make it possible by using spells and magic circles, but I cannot handle such magic as yet. Note. In Bengali, India, it means ghost drawing. I reach out to the air with one hand while another hand holding a magic book. This is a spirit language called a spell that calls upon the spirits in the atmosphere to help me to cast magic. It seems that some complicated magics need their own magical power to drive as motive power, by calling spirits with spells and by giving spirits some complex instructions with magic circles to establish final magic. Roughly speaking, there are many simple things that can be done with magic power alone. By communicating with the spirits using spells, it can cause a phenomenon such as ignition. Furthermore, by drawing a magic circle, we can manipulate that phenomenon freely. There are exceptions, but basically this way. Speaking briefly, magical power will be a fuel, spells are oral instructions, magic circles are design drawings. The current spell is a spell to draw a magic circle. I can transcribe the figure in my mind to the air by borrowing the help of the spirits. As this is a simple magic that gathers light, magic circle is unnecessary. Even if drawn normally with ink, there is effect. But this one is much faster if get used to it. However, practice is indispensable because its accuracy and speed depend on the competence of the user. However, this time it was just an exercise, so it is not a magic circle I draw. It is the face of Giselle. It took about 10 minutes, I drew it from the gloss of the cheeks to the texture of the hair, quite the details in the air. I am glad that I succeeded. When I draw Giselle's face before in the air with a spell, it stretched sideways and became a fat, and Giselle cried. Although she was good to be a model of Odom, but she disliked to be drawn as a fat girl. It may have been frustrating because the prototype remains at the end. Fu, being my sister's playing partner in training, both of which must be done, is the hard part of being an Onii-chan. No, it's fun for me too, so I do not mind. Wow, it looks like me. Giselle is happily making kyakya. I will stop magical powers after I see the situation. Painfully, the painting of Giselle that was floating in the air disappears as it dissolves in the air. Ah! Giselle murmurs lonely. Forgive me, Giselle. I also used a lot of magical power to keep the shape. But, it was enough to draw Giselle's face. Of course, simple figures can be transcribed in about 10 seconds, but even if magic is used for this, it was not practical enough. It takes considerable time to fire one fireball. I must cast a spell to cast a magic circle in the air and cast a spell to make a fireball again. I hold my right hand towards the air while chanting and look at the magic circle drawn on the magic book. It is a magic circle that keeps the fire spherically and shoots it. It is not to create a fire, but to make a path for fire to the last. It is necessary to cast another spell to ignite. Spirits are an inflexible one. Although they seems to understand the spell, but it is doubtful whether they can be called as an organism. I do not think they have their own will. Are not they only conditionally or reflectively obeying orders? According to the book, the spirit seems to be a mixture of ideas of living things and fragments of the soul of the creatures that living in the land. Although there were slight differences in the writings, in every book was written that there is no place where there are no spirits. Note. In Bengali, India, it means flame this hand. I have to keep the power to a minimum so as not to catch fire on the trees. The flames born from my hand got into a spherical shape. I will shoot it straight. After landing on the ground, it broke its shape and exploded and disappeared at once. Wow, wow. It is amazing. This is my first time to show the exercise of magic shooting fireballs to Giselle. It was difficult to control the direction, so far I was practicing only when I could get the time by myself. I was afraid to injure Giselle. Giselle looked at my magic and was excited, but I was not satisfied with this magic. At my current level, it takes almost 20 seconds for the whole process. With my fantasy view, while chanting spells it seems to be lynched, killed, by goblin-type guys. I do not have a concrete dream if I think about it. It seems practical to use bow and arrows. I could shoot more quickly if I build up training, but maybe it's enough for a bow and arrow, if it is necessary for hunting in the first place. There seems to have wars in the past, but as far as I look at the current village, there is not even a shadow of the past wars. It seems there are no duels to shoot magic between people in this village. Besides, if anyone can use it normally, it will not become even a magic trick. Re, by any chance, is it why that everyone are not working on their magic? No, it can't be. Because it's magic, the magic. I am putting my all into it. Do not think too deeply. No, I'm sure it will useful for something. Anyway, I cannot go back anymore. There is no choice but to rely on magic. But it seems that my limit is nearing with the books at home alone. It is nice to consolidate the foundation, but I would like to do more various things. There are many parts and doubts that cannot be fully understood, solved, only by books. I'd like a magic master soon. Should I talk to my father? Chapter 8. 7.Yrs 2, you are listening at novelfull.audio. I returned back to home with Giselle and I went upstairs secretly. My parents will scold me, if they found out that I took oracle cards without permission. After placed them in the original position, I descended to the first floor and waited for my father's return. My father is busy with hunting, pest control, village board meetings, etc. So basically he will not return home until evening. While watching Giselle piling up building blocks, I caught the fruits of Eve. Eve trees are growing side by side in the village. These trees were used for the magic training. The fruits of Eve tree are sweet and delicious. I do not have dinner yet. My mother may get angry if she finds out, but I want her to forgive for this. Marin tribe people eat only in the morning and evening. I was not able to sync with the 2 meals/day system yet. Ni-sama, I also want to eat it too. Giselle stops her hands with the block and asks me. No, dinner will not enter. I will leave some for you, so eat them after dinner. Giselle had a face that wants to say something, but she nodded her head slowly. Yes, it's good she is honest. Straightforward, we heard the sound of the entrance gate opening. It seems that my father is back. Should I consult about magic teacher immediately? I stood up and walked towards the entrance. Giselle comes with me behind. Father.sama, welcome back. Father.sama, welcome back. Abel, Giselle, I'm sorry to be late. Let's go to dinner. Father.sama, I want to ask you something. What is it? I opened a certain page inside a magic book and showed it to my father. The magic circle that casts the fireball and the magic circle that casts the water ball are partially similar in shape, so I'd like to know the semantic difference between these different parts. Note. Semantic. Relating to meaning in language or logic. I did not want to know this separately, but I wanted to measure the degree of my father's understanding of magic by whether he could answer this or not. Recently Ota making has settled down and heard that you often plays in the forest, so I thought that Abel became more like a child, but never thought that, you still practicing magic. My father murmurs and holds his head. In the past he was glad that I took interest in making odoms, but since when has it been treated like this? Certainly I may be a bit worried if my child who is 7 old only doing studies but nothing else. So, what is the difference? Abel, for you that book is still early, it was said that to deal with spells and magic circles from around the time of adulthood, until then, you should not read such things. My father reaches out for the book. I avoid it quickly and embraced it in my chest. Father.sama, Ni.sama already can spells and magic circle. I hurriedly covered the mouth of Giselle with my hands. It's a close call. My father does not encourage me to train magic is because I remember abnormal things in my enthusiasm for magic. If I say that I can use spells and magic circles already here, my father's suspicious feeling worsens unnecessarily. I want to be a leading magician in the future. It's okay, because you can make that many odoms at your age. There is plenty of quality, so you do not have to rush. Well, it is frustrating. It is useless to use my father as a magical master. He usually go out to hunt and do not have enough time, and I think that the level of magic of my father is not so different from me. Also, you do not have to understand the meaning of the magic circles, etc. It is only what we call wise men with huge amount of knowledge to invent and refine the magic circles. Also many magicians will just remembers existing magic circles and uses magic. As for me, I would like them to teach me that. Just by the amount of knowledge now, training that can be done will be limited. For example, it seems that I am reading only a textbook of mathematics endlessly. I want a more solid mathematical book. Is there no one in this village who can be called a wise man? It's not that there is no one. There is only the chief of village, and the chief also says that it is better to use the traditional one, already drawn magic circle, rather than organizing the magic circle with magic. That way we get stabilized and the magic power. There is also an advantage of less consumption magic power. Of all people the chief. He is a scary grandfather. He seems to be 150 old, but he seems to be only the look of about 70 old. He also boasts that he is the longest lived of this village. Apparently he seems to delay aging with magic. The body is still energetic and constantly shouting and yelling. Chief rarely leave the residence except for events such as village meetings and ceremonies. However, when dangerous monsters came in near the village nearly 10 years ago, I heard rumors that he accompanied with other adults and headed to the forest and instantaneously killed that monster. It is true that he is most familiar with magic in the village. Besides, I'm not good with Philo, who is the granddaughter of the chief, precisely descendant, I do not know how many generations granddaughter. If I showed him face to her, she will come to me in a rush. I am already full with magic training and as my sister's playmate. No, but if it's that chief is certainly. He could take time for me. Besides, he may have many books. He also had knowledge of living for 150 years. He seemed to be quite suitable as a teacher. I will head to the chief's mansion tomorrow. What this? Is that kind of thing? I was wondering if I can do more various things. I told him to be disappointed and shake the head a little. Oh, that's right. I thought that I can create a meat pie. I said it with my hands rubbing, then I dropped my shoulder deliberately. Ha! Unfortunately, what is the use of magic? Is it enough to end the ceremony without delay? My father is looking at me with his eyes wide. If I said this far, will I get scolded later? But I do not want suspicions left in halfway, so it's better to do it thoroughly here. Let's push a bit more. Oh, Father Sama, you were going to take this a little while ago, are you going to use it for something? Well, I'm glad that I can save the time and effort I have to put it back. I forced magic book to my father hand. As my father returned to me, he told me, put it back yourself, and walked to the living room. I felt that his back was somehow smaller than usual. He may be disappointed that his son who was keen on magic suddenly turned a new leaf. He is a difficult father to handle. Well, it's fine. With this I can deceive my father for a while. Chapter 9. 7 Years old, 3, you are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, I went to Chief's house together with Giselle. It's not that I do not have a sense of resistance to ask Chief to become a master. To be honest, I am not acquainted with the Chief. Still, as a master of magic, there was no qualified candidate other than the Chief in this settlement. Teachings might be pretty tough, but I came here for that with Dawn. When I tried to enter the fence made of wood, a voice called me from my back. Oya, what is this? It isn't Abel of Odom fanatic. What in the world going on? Coming to my mansion. When I looked at the direction of the voice, it is a girl of Marin tribe of same age as me standing there. A sharp red eyes that seems to have strong will, looking at me. Both arms folding in front of her breast that seemed to reflect her self-confidence and temperamental character. Her braided long hair, which was braid to the end, was shaking with the wind. She is the chief's granddaughter Philo. A troublesome person found me. Please take those words back. Onii.chan is not an Odom fanatic. With Father Sama's persuasion, recently he only making 1 or 2 Odoms per day. He also plays with me properly. Is not it, Onii.chan? No, if I look into those words, you mean until recently I was an Odom fanatic. Did you saw me like that until now? Onii.chan, a bit shocked. It's called Odom fanatic. Philo said with cold eyes. Do not worry. I have no intention of coming to see you. What? I was not expecting such a thing separately, I do not want it. I do not mean that kind of meaning, do not say strange things, Philo makes her face red when saying. She solved her arms which were folded and points her forefinger against me. It's good that kids are easy to be teased. Besides, I know that Abel is a pervert who gets excited only by Odom. Do you think that I will get flustered with those words? Shall I give her a hit? What's this? Am I being seen like that? Who is it? A big idiot that spread such a terrible big lie. I came to see your grandpa. Do not call my grandfather Sama lightly, Odom fanatic. Call him Chief Sama. It's fine, I will properly call him in front of others as grandfather Sama, okay? In Marin tribe, they are also polite towards their immediate family, and it is suffocating. I want to speak casually at least around other kids. You do not call my grandfather Sama as grandfather Sama. What do you think of yourself? I do not have a little bit of feelings towards and I do not want to become your wife. I do not like even a little bit. So, do not say any strange things. I do not mean that. Ironically it looked like that by the saying goes. I'm having trouble with that reaction, so I'd like her to stop reading deeply in a strange way. Alright, at least let's call him the chief in front of Philo. I get tired when I talk to Philo. That's why, I will go to see the chief Sama. Fyun well, I do not understand what you want to do. Well, it's fine, besides I am not interested in what Abel want to do. At best, take care not to trip. I turned towards the mansion and lightly waved my hand shishi towards Philo as if to chase away Philo. Then when I started walking, for some reason I heard footsteps of 3 people. When I turned back, it's Philo who followed us. Philo, you do not have anything to do with me, right? What? I am just going back home. What's with those eyes? I'm not trying to follow Abel. Do not say it like that. Listen. This is my home. I am free to return whenever I want. She is not a bad girl, but what should I say? However, I have not seen the face of the chief. Perhaps if there is Philo, it might be somewhat easier to talk. Even she was there, it's fine. Besides, there is no need to forcibly chase her away by force. No, if she went somewhere, I do not wish for any more than that. We entered the mansion. At the entrance, Philo's mother was there. After completing a simple greeting, told her my intention of seeing the chief. Please, come in. Chief Sama is free today. Philo guide them to the Chief Sama. Is it me? Mother Sama, well, it cannot be helped, with this follow-up it would happen like this. I cannot help it, I really do not want to do it, but I will guide you anyway. I really do not want to do it. Philo sighs a little, and says it meaningfully. I'm sorry to let you take the trouble, Philo Sama. Please guide us, thank you. I changed my attitude and said it to her by lowering my head. Wait, what is this attitude? I am consistent in this attitude when I am in front of adults. This one is better to be received. I am sorry, Abel. Kuan, Philo is not honest. This girl, normally she is a good girl, please get along with her. Mother Sama. Philo turns her cheeks red and ruffles her voice while gulping her teeth. While giggling, Philo's mother went to another room. Philo clears her throat and starts walking. Hey! Ora! What are you standing there in a daze? Walking through the corridor with Philo in front, we aimed at the room at the back where the chief stays. I remember that the chief was a pretty casual person. Today I intended to take only appointment, but it seems that such things are unnecessary in order to see the chief. Even though the chief is the head, hunting will be done by young ones. Recently, no major incidents have happened. I do not think he is busy any longer. Besides, I am a 7-years-old child. It is not a big village here, and it may be the feeling that his relative's grandchild came to visit. Well, my mother Sama is taking it light. Well, I am accompanying you. I bother to take my time and accompany you, thank me for what I have done. I do not know what you want to ask my grandfather. Sama. Please do not imitate, that will bring shame to my face. If you are rude, I will knock you out, so do you understand? Philo looks back and speaks quickly and returns her face immediately after finishing. You did not say that you just want to return home. Well, let's stop putting the stupid Tsukomi. A chief is also a human being. If he was in front of his own granddaughter, his attitude might be softened a little. I think, it will not work in a negative way. Chapter 10. 7. Yrs old, 4, you are listening at novelfull.audio. The chief is sitting in a chair and reading a book and was surrounded by otoms. He had hair that did not lost its luster, deeply carved wrinkles. Nevertheless, considering him being 150 years old, no matter how I think about it, he looks too young. By seeing his big body, I do not think that the muscles are so weak. Even though he do not leave the mansion unless it was an emergency, it is well-maintained muscular body. For me, who refused my father when invited me for the hunting and put most of the effort in magic training. It is something that I would like to refer from, because I have a frail constitution. The chief is now 150. Yrs old, but Marin tribe is not special longevity race. He only takes advantage of magic and sorcery in delaying his age progression. Maintaining muscle strength is also part of that. Marin tribe's average lifespan is usually about 80. Yrs if it is normal. It is no different from my former world. Although the civilization of this settlement is underdeveloped, it is a simple magic and can maintain a certain level of health, so the standard of lifespan is high. There are diseases that cannot be dealt with by magic, but there are also damage from monsters and disasters. Compared with the average life expectancy, it is much lower than Japan. The chief raises his face from the thick book, and stares at me while pressing the upper part of the glasses with his fingers. Philo, and who was it? The tyrant narrowed his eyes, and he said sweetly. I only had a formal greeting at the event before, so it seems he do not remember me. It was already half a year ago since he saw my face in the ritual, and that would be natural as well. I am Abel Belek. Disu, this girl is my sister Giselle Belek. Disu, please excuse me for a sudden visit, there is something I really want to ask. When I bow my head all the time, Giselle in a panic imitates me. Fyun, is it the son of Zir. Bu, I heard often about you from Philo. You are quite good friends with my granddaughter. That, grandfather. Sama. Philo interrupts the chief in a hurry, by calling him. The chief narrows his eyes and looks at Philo. As Philo retracted a half step as if she was conscious to that gaze, he said, well, good, and switches the story. Then Abel, what do you want to ask me? In fact, I am stuck with magic practice. When Chief. Sama had some time, I would like you to give me lectures. Fyun, kid seems to think that I seems to have lot of free time. Chief says with angrily and shakes his head slowly. He do not have to interpret that in a mean way against a child like that. What's this? By any chance, he might have a bad impression about me. Because of my lifestyle until now, I know that there are many bad rumors spread about me. Besides, it is not strange that Philo bends it twisting in many ways. Haha. Because you said you wanted to see my grandfather. Sama. What's this? Do you wanted to learn magic? Though you are not even acquainted with grandfather. Sama, suddenly you asked him to teach you, you are too shameless. Whatever, I could learn magic from grandfather. Sama and teach it to Abel. But, well, it depends on your attitude and sincerity. What do she think of herself? But indeed from this feeling I might have failed by rushing things. Since her mother welcomed me with smiling face, I took her offer. But I should have come after asking the convenient time by telling them beforehand. The sense of Marin tribe was still I could not grasp well. Philo. Chief opens his mouth. Yes, grandfather. Sama. Leave the seat for a while. With gakudo sound, Philo fall down. She managed to recover her body and said with pain to the chief. What? But. Ora. Abel might be rude towards grandfather. Sama. Also, Abel. Abel is. Leave. Yes, Philo drove her neck down and went out of the room with dark face. Although she looked back here about a couple of times, as the chief wrinkled between his brows, she quickened her feet. Well, if there is Philo, the story will not progress. Naturally, it is a natural judgment, of course. To see this result, in the end she was not useful enough to surprise me in the sense of softening the attitude of the chief. Fyun. You want to learn magic from me, my waist is not light enough to move when asked by a little boy. Is it useless? It will be a waste of time if you gave up easily. I do not think that you have enough guts, boy. For me, it is a short old age. Gui, bearing his hostility towards me. Clearly, I will be troubled by the reactions, even if I get caught by his age. Such a thing, if I lived for 150-YRS2, I might understand. If its position point of view, it is still a chief and a brat. Because I am saying the life expectancy rather than my age, should I say that no such a thing? However, even if I follow up poorly, he might interpret it by twisting it into a sarcasm. Isn't this old man intentionally trying to push me into corner? No, I am thinking too much. Because there are no good rumors about his appearance was a little scary. Do not stand too much. No, Chief. Sama is still doing fine and healthy. I smile while smiling. Yes, it can go. It is a full mark. I did not mention the point that he is old and I did it well. That's what I thought, Fyun, considering my age as being an old man. It's because of you that I had to consider it, though the words came to my throat, I swallowed them back. That when I thought that I had came to forcibly kill, with answer, he avoided it simply. If I answered it normally he would say I am a rude fellow, even if I had avoided it, and this is what I get. What kind of answer were you expecting, this old man? Because he drove Philo away, I thought that he thought quite well, this condition seems to be difficult. Rather, he did not want his granddaughter to see the place where he was bullying a child, so he kicked her out. It might be better for me find another master. Well then. Oh no, this story, about chief become his master, is it useless? Fyun, short-tempered guy, I did not say it's useless. You are saying that. The grandpa's attitude speaks eloquently. Then, will you teach me? I did not say that I will teach, boy, do not rush it. What is this palm returns? Well then, which one? That's right, let me see, how serious you are. Boy, come back tomorrow morning. It is practically a disciple accreditation. It is only a story that he will teach me exactly what he originally teach me. When he think that I was not serious enough, he will cut ties with me. I wonder why. Although I was able to achieve my goal and it was a sunny day tomorrow and I became an apprentice of the chief, I felt something that I could not understand for some reason. For the time being our talks have finished, so we decided to leave for today. We left the chief's mansion, both I and Giselle head towards our house. Ah no, hey, Sama. Perhaps there are a lot of tsundere in chief's house. Tsundere. No, nothing, perhaps it is not a concept in this world. By the way, that tsundere grandfather taught magic as if nothing had happened the next day. When I visited the mansion, I was surprised by the great preparation. Actually, I wonder if chief wanted a disciple to teach. Meanings accreditation. Noun 1. The action or process of officially recognizing someone as having a particular status or being qualified to perform a particular activity. 2. An acknowledgement of a person's responsibility for or achievement of something. Eloquently. Adverb 1. In a fluent or persuasive manner.